Seth A Smith is one of the greatest Canadian exports since The Kids in the Hall. Hailing from Halifax, Nova Scotia, Seth is a self-described interdisciplinary artist whose work, according to Seth himself, has adorned galleries and telephone poles across Canada and the US. While humble, Seth is actually a quiet giant whose work, both emotionally driven and surrealistic, has been influencing the indie scene and beyond for nearly 2 decades. Known as the songwriter and frontman for Dog Day, he has also garnered much praise with his visual work and award-winning films such as Lowlife, The Crescent, and his most recent film Tin Can, starring Anna Hopkins and Michael Ironside. But while the spotlight has found Seth wearing numerous hats, he's one to acknowledge the importance of his collaborators, the most consistent of them all, his lovely partner, Nancy Urich, who serves as a producer on his films, and a bandmate in Dog Day. Last June, I found myself quite fortunate to be speaking with Seth, who was then hard at work on a Tin Can behind-the-scenes documentary. We talked about art, influences, and his plans for the future. I noticed early on in your music career that you had an affinity for film. Did those short films and music videos serve as a discovery for filmmaking, or was the interest always there?
I guess, I always liked movies. I used to, it dates me, but I used to rent, my local convenience store had, a VHS section, and half of it was horror, and I just would always rent, whatever they had over and over again. So I definitely, and I made movies as a kid with, a little handheld recorder with my dog and ketchup and stuff like that. But I think later on when I kind of started experimenting with video, it was just for the need to make music videos. I remember we hired a videographer to make our first video for a band called the Burdocks I was in.
Yeah.
It was an awesome video. I made all these crazy masks out of dead presidents and had 200 extras, and we had all this really cool set and recorded the whole thing. But then the guy took off with the footage. He left. I never saw him again, and took off with the money we paid him. And so then after that, that was a bummer. But I just was like, if I'm gonna, if we're gonna do music videos, I'm just gonna figure out how to do it. And so that's what gave me the bug, I guess, to actually step up and start making things.
Oh, that's crazy. We got a hidden Burdocks music video out there somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. Someday I'm thinking it might turn up, but I kind of picture he probably accidentally pressed the delete key or something and just couldn't face it. I don't know. I heard he moved to Australia.
That's what was like a usual rental for you? What was something that you'd rent over and over again as a kid?
Oh, we're in Canada, so it's David Cronenberg at the time. I don't know what, maybe, he's a famous director, back then too. But we had a lot of David Cronenberg in that store for some reason. So The Fly was kind of inspirational, that was around, and I've rented that a few times. Nightmare on Elm Street I got into because I like the idea of battles and the dream realm, that's kind of interesting. But mainly it was a lot of B movies, like the ones that weren't so cool, and I still like that. I consider Tin Can, our newest one that we made, a B movie. Maybe all my movies are B movies. But I think B movies, there's a certain cheesiness that comes with it sometimes that, that comes along with low budget filmmaking. But I think they also do some really interesting things. I find a lot of big budget movies just, they don't take a lot of risks. It's like a paint by number kind of formula that they stick to very closely. And but some of the lower budget movies and what were considered B movies back then kind of pushed some boundaries. And like The Fly. I mean that's a big movie, but it's like it also kind of got lumped into the B movie genre, and that was like the first time a monster kind of played a lead in a way, and that I saw at the time, and that was kind of a eye opener for me that you could do that.
No, definitely. I agree with you. Like it's always a joy when they give people like like David Lynch and Cronenberg, like somebody's like, here, have a bunch of money, go do whatever you want to do.
yeah. No, that's the trick, is just to be able to fund those movies. I was definitely, as you mentioned, Lynch. I was influenced with, he was an influence early on for sure, and because I like his mood, and Stanley Kubrick, I like a lot of his shots kind of resonated with me. Now I'm kind of getting a little tired of it because everyone's ripping off Stanley Kubrick now. And, I want to try something else, but yeah, he was an inspiration going on, and and Cronenberg obviously I just liked what he's doing with any director that plays with surrealism a little is has been kind of influential. But outside of movies, I grew up playing a lot of video games and reading a lot of comic books. I was going to be, I thought I was going to be a comic book illustrator. That was kind of what I was working towards, and until I kind of found music, and that kind of derailed things. I guess some of the darker comic books, like Dark Horse stuff, or some of the darker Image comics were kind of an influence. I kind of look back at those things sometimes when I'm trying to come up with ideas. But yeah, I don't know. I draw a lot, so I just I guess art is just like visual art kind of inspires me a lot. Sometimes I'll see a painting and I'll think about it as a background, or how the colors could, how you could light a scene with the colors of the painting.
Oh, that's interesting. So in terms of like your art, does that help you out when you're like doing like the pre-production stuff, like say like the design of the robots in Tin Can?
Yeah, I mean it does. But you know what? The thing is, I'm lazy. That's the problem. So I don't do a lot of storyboarding. I'll do it for like the scenes that I can't. I need a little help envisioning like how they're going to go or where things will be placed. And I find it kind of boring because it's a lot of drawing. But the things, for this particular thing, it was really helpful being able to, convey my ideas as good as I can, because we had these kind of robot guys we had to, make. That was like a question of how we're going to do that, and we also had this disease that kind of grows on people and kind of transforms them, and so I had a lot of drawings with that, and I think it actually helped some of the departments kind of get what I was going for, and it was actually we just put out we're just releasing a behind the scenes movie. I just finished editing it, and it was kind of neat to look at the old drawings of like some of the creatures and stuff and see how close they turned out to the drawings. Like the crew and all the art departments and makeup departments did such a bang up job. It was like way too good.
Awesome. Is that going to be on the? Will that be on the Blu-ray when it comes out?
Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah, and I'm hoping that we can release it online too, because the Blu-ray demographics, it's a smaller demographic. Yeah. But I hope it's available for people to see, because I don't know, it's kind of, you do all this work on a movie, but no one sees all of it in a way. Like they just see the final product, and it's kind of interesting to see everything that went into it and all the people that were involved. But I don't know. I've always I've been very interested, even just since I was born, in like the unknown and the unseen, and what makes people do things, or what you just don't see. But yeah, I gravitate towards the darker stuff. I always have just because that's what's interesting to me, and there seems to be same with horror movies. It's just there's a little more experimentation in horror movies, so that's kind of why it interests me, those places.
Well, speaking of, I mean, elevated horror, that's become like a, popular genre, especially with like A24 releasing so many hits one after another. Why do you believe there's like a resurgence of more drama and emotion in horror? Like people are demanding it more.
Well, yeah, I could see that. I mean, if you're looking at like 80s horror, it was a bit, it was a little more shallow. I think it's just, it's with music too, that now that it's very accessible to everyone, there's just a lot of smaller niche subgenres are kind of, they have a home, they have a place. There's always been people that like, horror movies that, give you more to think about. But back in the day, they just made these kind of cereal box movies that the mass would like, they don't care about that, 25% of horror lovers or whatever. So, but I think audiences are getting smarter, and I think there's kind of audiences at different levels. But at the other hand, on the other hand, there's still people that want to, just a really dumb action movie, and that's cool too. But yeah, I tend to put a lot of thought into my movies, and that's just kind of the place where I like to create.
Seth and I talked. He was like, "Well, what did you think of the script?" And I was honest that I was like a little bit feeling that it was too smart for me, or I was like a little bit confused by it. And he said, "Good."
Yeah, no, it shows too, and the Crescent and Lowlife, they have a lot of. In terms of sadness, they have a lot of heart to them. So it definitely shows.
No, that's nice that you watched Lowlife. Not many people have seen that one.
I had to do a little digging, but man, when I found it, I was like, oh, fine, it's something new, and I'm always very excited when I do not know what's going to happen.
I mean, what happened to you?
It was confusing. I got mixed up. No, it's more like it got lost. Lowlife.
I'm thinking maybe dropping it all, living like a hermit, live the infinite trip. Maybe I'll be a slug.
Oh, cool.
Which is
so
rare.
Was fun. We basically shot that one that was my first film ever. I hadn't made a short film before that. That was the first thing I ever did. And, I made some music videos, but, that was fun. But we would just work on it on the weekends with friends.
What's that?
Is it worth making this at all?
Yeah, because I might have to match my dialogue in.
Oh, gotcha.
Darius, I want you to do that cross-eyed thing.
I've been trying to do it, yeah. I was doing it. What's that?
Towards your nose.
Down?
But eyes open, like this, and look this way,
Yeah, I was doing it up like this. That's not cross-eyed, though,
That's what I want, yeah.
That's what I was doing. Can you stick a little mud in my mouth there?
I just shot it all myself. Our crew is like 3 people, and it was made for $5,000.
Wow.
So it looks like how it was made, but it was a lot of fun.
No, it definitely lends to the aesthetic. I'm really impressed you pulled that off at 5.
Yeah, we're lucky. Just a friend of mine, Mike Clattenburg, the guy who invented and filmed the Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, I was going to ask about him.
He lent me a camera and he said, "Hey man, you just make that movie and just bring back the camera when you're done." Yeah. And that was just, if he hadn't done that, I probably wouldn't have made that movie, to be honest.
Wow, that's very interesting. Yeah, I was going to ask because I noticed a lot of Trailer Park alumni show up in like the credits or special thanks.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Officer George Green was in Tin Can. Yeah, he has like a bit of a violent scene with my co-writer Darcy Spidle, and yeah, it was pretty good.
Your films have had like very unforgettable scores that linger with you kind of long after the credits. I mean, like the Crescent stays in my head all the time. Because that score, I'd compare that to anything John Carpenter's done. It's on that level. It's really good. Has your background in music affected your filmmaking, and has making the films affected your music?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's the thing is so yeah, I'm in a band called Dog Day with my partner Nancy Yerk. Yeah, that's it's like a pop band. I mean, I would call that, or like a sometimes we call it a punk band, but it's very structured, verse, chorus, verse. But yeah, I mean, when I realized I needed to do some soundtrack stuff for my movies, and I kind of like to control a lot of things and do things myself. So I gave it a try, but yeah, I'm not so much into like the kind of pop music direction in movies, so I took more of the scoring route, and I like it because it's different for me than pop music. It's less structured. It's kind of more emotion based in a way, like
yeah.
And I also used to do a lot of abstract painting, so it kind of reminds me of that, where you can just kind of brush almost with your eyes closed and just kind of feel it out, so I don't know, but so yeah, I mean, I don't know how to read music or score things traditionally. I just kind of do what I can do. I also make a lot of little instruments with Tin Can. I just kind of made instruments because I'm always looking for sounds that I haven't heard, and so that's kind of part of the fun too. It's just kind of trying to make something new, and yeah, I mean, so I keep those two, the music, and the scoring. There's kind of two different worlds for me. Tin Can, though, it was kind of neat to, yeah, like a lot of times in the movies, I'll decide, I can't afford to get someone to score it, or I kind of want to do it myself. But with Tin Can, I knew I was going to do it myself, and so it was neat because we kind of worked in a few lighting sequences, like where the lights were changing to the beat and the tempo of the music, and so I wasn't sure if it was totally going to come together, but when we did, it was kind of cool that we prepared it from the beginning, and yeah, this time I usually handle a lot of it myself, but this time I got my partner Nancy Yerk to play on a lot of stuff too, and she played a lot of piano. We did a lot of we were listening to this composer Scarlatti, and we did a few of his pieces. She played them, so that was fun to collaborate with her on this.
Well, I'll skip a couple questions. Actually, lean into this. You come off as someone who gets more out of collaborative art than just being a sole proprietor. How do you value those connections that you make when you're doing collaborative work over the years?
Well, yeah, I mean, film is hugely important because it's just it just takes an army. So it's not really a medium to get into if you're a guy who just likes doing everything solo. In music, yeah, and in the band, it's who you're playing with. It changes everything. I've been through different band members, and it's just it's really important. You kind of have you're like-minded and you have a lot of communication. But I guess in art I've worked with a lot of collaborators. Visual art. I had a long time collaborator, Paul Hammond. We did a lot of screen printing, and it is fun because I've done a lot of stuff just myself, like some solo albums and videos and things, and those are nice when you want to control every aspect and get it just exactly the way you want. But there's an extra magic when you're working with other people, and they're riffing off you, and you get to discover things together, and you don't really get that when you're just working yourself. You kind of get to the limit of the capacity of your idea, and you kind of do it. But yeah, I don't know. There's a certain magic when someone kind of takes it to the next level, and I really like that. I kind of like I push people too to go as far as they can with it, and it's kind of fun for me. The part a lot of times in dialogue with actors or with crew members, when actors do take just experiment and throw out new lines, like it's very it's special because something I wouldn't have thought about, and in the moment it's something that really excites me.
You've been hard at work on getting the release ready for Tin Can. You got a great cast. The Expanse's Anna Hopkins, and one of the acting gods of Olympus, one Mr. Michael Ironside. Yeah. How did he come about? How did that come about? It's B-movie days. He was always the bad guy, versus Schwarzenegger or, whoever. And he was on Scanner. I knew I had this character, Wayne, who is, just had a certain personality. And I was looking at who could play that. And I don't know, his face just kept on, popping up. I think I probably was reading it with his voice in mind. And I don't know how I got in touch with him, but yeah, I put a feeler out, and he called me because he really liked the script. It seemed like, and he wanted to do it, and he had a couple changes. Like he wanted to die in the end. He wanted to be burned alive. Like that was one of his ideas, and I kind of went over why I didn't think I could do that, because his character is actually one of the only characters, spoiler alert, that really kind of survives in a way. But he's kind of his whole he's got this legacy of just all his characters have real painful deaths on screen. Yes. So I get it. He's known for that. And but yeah, he was cool to work with. I didn't have a lot of money doing Tin Can either, and so a lot of it was almost kind of treated like a stage play. Like there was a lot of voiceover. We're not seeing a lot of people; we're just hearing them. Yeah. Because after all, it's like a prison film. You're with one person, but you're kind of hearing these other captives. But we do see him, and he was cool to work with. And I just kind of linked up with him again, doing this BTS. Had a lot of interesting things to say. So hoping to work with him again someday.
Let's try one more, because I want to do it a little different. All right, cool. Yeah. I want to put a little hope into it before I lose.
The disconnect was real, that sense of disconnect. I remember we had the discussion at one point. I said, can we just bring the camera inside the capsule, just so I can feel, because we were filming from outside the capsule through the grates and all that stuff, just so I can have a sense. I as the actor, wanted a sense of being a part of everything, because there was that constant sense of separation. In that short period of time I was there, it was quite oppressive.
I don't know whether I should go back to sleep or wake up.
Exactly. Yeah. You like it?
But no, it was a very enjoyable experience.
Well, you've spoken about her many times in the interview. It's one of your biggest collaborators is, of course, Nancy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
She's a producer on the Tin Can as well, and one of the best damn bass players. Period.
you think so? I think so too.
What has been your experience moving through life with Nancy and by your side and being involved with each other's projects so heavily?
I mean, we're good. We work together well, and we kind of learned that early on. It's not always easy, especially when you're, you live with someone or you're married to someone and you're seeing them every day and you can't get away from each other. Work and the home life are kind of one. But, we learned pretty early on that we can make that work and we can, give ourselves boundaries and really make it a pleasant experience. And, we're very like-minded in a lot of ways. And so, yeah, it's been definitely been a profitable, working partnership. And, yeah, we like to mix it up too. We do music and then, we've done a bunch of albums. So then we started doing movies and we write, we don't write scripts together, but we're kind of we're involved together in all the different stages and processes. Yeah, I mean, I like working with my family. It's like when you're doing, I work with my son too. He's an actor in a lot of my stuff. And especially in film, when you're working like just long hours and you're so heavily immersed in the stuff, it's nice to incorporate your family because then you get to see them more and have some experiences together.
During the December 2013 interview with Exclaim, you were commenting about Dog Days hiatus, but you said now that you're older still and things have faded back in. Moving toward pastimes of the introvert, which I love that phrase. Since then, you've come back off of hiatus, with Dog Day and directing as well. How do you feel now looking back on what you've accomplished thus far? And what would you love to see happen in the future?
I'm proud of my, the slate of work that I've accomplished. I don't watch my old movies very much, or I don't listen to my albums, but I find it's weird. It's almost foreign when I listen to it. It's like, because it's just a different time and, but, I'm proud of it. It's like taking pictures in a way and having a photo album. It's just proof that you were here and that you did something. And yeah, it's a lot of work, but, what else are you going to do? Going forward is, I always have big dreams, and there's a lot I want to do, and a lot of, albums I want to make, and songs that are just sitting on my hard drive, and scripts that are piled up. But it's it's kind of just like, it's like, what's the weather going to be like? If you need this, the future kind of holds the power to if something's going to be made or not, or it's going to be the right time or settings or finances to make something. And so, yeah, as long as I'm doing something, I'm happy, and I'll keep doing it till I can.
Well, that's a beautiful answer. Before I let you go, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about this guitar that your father found in a dumpster here in South Carolina.
How did you know about that?
I do my research, sir.
I was just playing it today, actually.
Oh, great.
Yeah, no, I can't remember what I just went down there to visit him, and he just found like I don't even know what it's called because it's kind of messed up. The headstock is the Washburn, I think. But yeah, the headstock was cracked off, and he was like, "Oh, I got this for you if you want to if you think you can do something with it," because he knew like I make like a lot of weird instruments out of broken parts, and but I just glued it together and put some like vice grips on it, and it actually plays better than I have like a real nice old 1949 Gibson that I play a lot acoustic, but it plays better than that one. So I do a lot of my writing on acoustic guitars, and I don't perform much on them because I don't know, it's like too revealing. I need the noise to hide my voice. But I like the guitar for writing a lot. Yeah, I was just playing it today. We have like a whole bunch of like garbage guitars. I think the guitar Nancy plays sometimes in Dog Day and in the Burdocks, like it's this Red Music Master. she found it in someone's garbage can. Like it was kind of just in the back of a garage in a garbage can. And she just asked if she could buy it. I think she paid like a couple cases of beer for it or something. And a couple of things we found on the side of the road and fixed up. Up until like this year, the most money I ever spent on a guitar was $200.
Wow, man.
But I bought a nice guitar this year.
Well, what? Out of curiosity, for anybody that's interested, what did you end up picking up?
I got a Jaguar. It was just it's a new one with humbuckers. So we're working. Dog Day's working on a new record right now. And,
oh wow! Okay, that's exciting.
I kind of like using a different guitar every record, and if I can, you know. Actually, that's not true. I always use the same guitar generally, but I try to make a different guitar sound.
Well, that's great. Well, give us something else to look forward to. That's amazing. Where can we find you? I know Dog Day Music is on Band Day, Bandcamp.
Fundog. We have a label called Fundog, so it's fundog.bandcamp.com. That pretty well has like our whole everything I've ever done, and the movies I think the Crescent's still on Amazon, although it's in mono, and I'm really bothered by that. But other than that, you can, and it's on iTunes where it's in stereo. Tin Can should be on all the streamers, most of them. And Lowlife, like you said, you just got to look for that one. I don't know where that is. Actually, my screenwriting, collaborator Darcy Spot and I were working on a new script, and I think it might be a prequel to Lowlife.
Really?
It's weird. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to call it that, but we are kind of drawing off the Lowlife world. So there might be a part 2.
Excellent. Well, sir, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time.
It was fun talking.
I've been looking forward to this since I knew it was going to happen. This is
cool, man. Yeah, it was nice talking to you. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
I miss South Carolina, so maybe we'll meet one of these days.
Oh, sir, if you're ever in the upstate area, I will drinks from me.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Wow. It's been nearly a year since I interviewed Seth, and going back and listening to this and to, clean up the audio for you guys and everything, I am still registering the fact that it even happened. It's so surreal. Honestly, I'm excited to see whatever he does next. And after hearing him talk, that excitement, it's only increased tenfold. So to Seth, thank you for such a wonderful conversation. I really, truly hope we get to do it again. And can't wait to see what you put out next, dude. I love you. I do hope you'll go and pick up the newest issue of Aphotic Realm Magazine to read the full interview with Seth, alongside some brand new horror and sci-fi shorts and comics from the indie community. I don't know about you guys. Super stoked that Aphotic Realm is back, and can't wait to read the issue. You'll find the link to that issue below, along with a plethora of other links that will take you to everything Seth and I talked about in the interview. Definitely check out the links below. And while you're at Fundog, scoring some new movies and music for your collection, please check out Seth's pair of albums that he recorded in the nature of Nova Scotia, made to alleviate those who suffer with tinnitus. The album benefits the Canadian Hearing Society, with half the proceeds going to them. I don't know. I've never seen anybody do anything like that. I think that's a really cool idea. I hope you check it out. And also, there's some really cool videos on his channel where you can see the actual recording of these very surreal, ethereal tracks. And before I let you loose, I want to thank the guys at Aphotic Realm, Adrian, Chris, and Dustin. You guys have always had my back. I love working with you. It's always a pleasure. I love you guys. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to interview Seth and hearing out my pitch to make it happen. Thank you guys again for facilitating my crazy ideas. And as always, it's been a real pleasure to work with you again for the countless time. I don't even know how many times we've worked together. I love you guys, and so excited the magazine's back. Okay, guys, thank you for listening. Links below. Go buy you some cool stuff. Support the indie community, support the arts, and we will see you again. Take it easy, guys.